Right, so this week's video, you'll see some changes here. The obvious one, it's grey currently. Basically, been doing a load of work on symmetry, flattening panels, putting it in primer. So basically I can see where any ripples are, any problems are, stuff like that. And then basically acting upon it from there. So I've been doing God knows how many hours now, probably about 30 hours or so probably this week, doing various things. Anybody keeping track of the Project Stormtrooper Facebook page will have seen some pictures already, but anybody else probably won't have. So I thought I'd do a video this week and show you what's going on. So basically the general gist is this whole, well, this point at it probably easiest, this whole section here is done. Well, let's say done, it's not flattered or anything like that, it's just primed, but it has been flatted, primed, filled, flatted again, primed again, so about 5 times, like just basically sanding, flattening, repeating, basically, pretty much, seeing exactly where we are. But the lines are looking really good now. Earlier in the week, this bonnet section here, that was not looking great at all, to be fair, and there was all sorts of little pinholes. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because it can get covered in leather, so it hasn't got to be 100% anyway, but all this section had pinholes in it. There's pinholes down here, there was pinholes down here, it was everywhere. So I've thought, well, I may as well fix them while I'm here. There are still some, obviously, but little ones like this sort of thing. Doesn't make any difference really, little marks like this. Doesn't matter, it's not getting painted, it's getting covered in leather, for anybody who doesn't know. So that won't show anyway, so that saves me a load of time. Basically anything from, anything from, these have been done, this hasn't been done, it's been primed, but I haven't actually done any work on that. I've done some work on it previously, so it's not horrendous, but it does need a bit of work getting the symmetry right. You can tell it's slightly off there, even just in that picture. Same as these vents. These vents here have had some work recently, but again, they need to be properly sized, and the perspex sheets made for those. And that splitter's basically going to have to be finished off, get that primed and flatted and everything else, which is going to be a bit of work, that one actually, because it's I've done some on it already, but it's going to be a bit of a tricky one, but I want to make sure I get that right, because that'll also be in leather, so I may as well get that right. So yeah, basically this has now been changed on the lights. You probably won't notice from previous photos. Basically the distance between there and there before on this light was 12.5 centimeters, and this one here is about 11. Now they're spot on, exactly the same. It's basically the same equivalent curve here, there. That's basically been sorted as well. These lines here, it's difficult to tell on video really. These lines here were wrong. They now come down nicely. The side of the bonnet's all sorted. Everything's all perfectly fine around there. Everything's nice and flat. Looking pretty good. You can see how much better, well, I didn't really take photos as such from previous, but you can see how much better it was from other videos, perhaps, from when it was white and other things, but it's a lot smoother, flatter, looking quite good now. You can see the lines coming through. So the bonnet's been a bit of a nightmare. I've had to basically almost completely revamp this whole section, redo the lines here because they were wrong. It moved slightly too far. Which way we're going? That way. Moved slightly too far. To be honest, on camera, I don't know if it looks like it's on a real video or what, but it looks like it goes inwards that way, which actually it goes that way. So I'm not sure what it looks like that on camera, but there you go. All these lines at the front here were all wrong. It was sort of almost looked a bit sort of slanted, which is no good, but now it looks really good. Nothing that will show up without under the leather side anyway. The shut lines I've done slightly bigger than normal. I normally like to have really small shut lines. I've done it slightly bigger because basically there's going to have to be leather on that, and I need some tolerance in there for obviously opening and not catching and stuff like that, so you won't see those when it's all done. The scuttle panel's not in, but you know that's already finished. That's at the back somewhere in the garage. I'm doing some work at the moment on this section. This has all been flatted here, but this piece here on the other side, it basically sits about here on the rim and then goes all the way around. Obviously this is too low down, he's cutting out. I'm going to do that in a minute before I go anywhere. So by the next video, which will be end of next week, there'll be a lot more done. This will be the correct shape and everything else. All this section here has not been done yet, around here. I can't really do this bit until I put the door on, but I might even do this second door this week. We'll see how it goes. I'm building some pieces working into this mirror, or both mirrors. I'll show you the other side in a minute, because this one's literally just sort of half put together. Basically, I'll try and tell you how it's going to work. In fact, I'll show you the other one. It's much easier because I've done more work on this one. I'll show you. It'll be easier, won't it? Let's have a look. So this section now is going to be, it's part of like a window sort of shape, so basically to bring the car's lines forward, which is basically pretty much done. Just tidying up the lines on here. There's a few little bits here. Again, they won't show on leather anyway, but I'm going to want to make sure they're right the best they can be. All the section here has been sorted out around here. The mirror's been flatted. You can see underneath needs finishing, and there's a new section around here, basically where it kind of let's go up this way, probably easy to see, kind of bends round now rather than sort of sitting there in a very tricky corner where I can't really do much with it. So that's working quite good. This side, I can't get any further out on the zoom unfortunately. This side is basically flatted as well, the whole thing. Sill, let's try and get down here. The sill, all this has been done, properly shaped, flatted, 240 grit, then primed. This hasn't been flattened afterwards, you can still feel it's rough, but it's been 240 gritted and then primed basically in 2-pack primer, just so I know basically where I am, and it's come out really nice actually. It's taken some work. Shut lines, these are quite small at the moment. These will get slightly bigger because of what I said about the leather, but you can see how they're going to come along, but they're all in the right places at least. They just need to be a little bit bigger, which they'll be done very soon, because I've got to take the door off at some point again. Hopefully I won't drop it on my foot this time. Been working again on these lines along here, these trims. This one needs finishing at the end because I'm basically working on this mirror. It's kind of being brought up. This line was off before. It still is slightly here. Yeah, slightly off there, so it needs a little bit of work on this line. Obviously I'm sort of in the middle of doing stuff on this side, but you can see how it's going to look. It's going to be easier when I can get this door off, because then I can sand all this back to the right shape. That's going to be flush with that section. That'll be the same as that. That's the idea. This whole quarter panel is all sorted. The only thing I do need to do is flat back. I've noticed when I've primed it, I've got a flat back a section here. There's a bit too much filler in there, I think, because there's the lines of the quarter panel, this little bulge bit sort of comes out and it goes fine over there, and that's all good. However, this piece, it kind of dips down. It's got a little dip, which we don't want to dip. So yeah, that should be sorted soon. It's not much of a job, that, to be fair. Nice easy one. That's the sort of stuff I'm doing this exactly for, so I can see exactly where the issues are. Like this sort of bit here, little section, this is basically where it needs flattening back, and that'll look quite good when it's all done. All this back section's been sorted and done. That's all the right shape. All this has been flatted back. All of this down to the bottom. I've got to move all this stuff out of the way basically to get in here, but that's one of the next jobs. So it's all been flatted back here. It is the right shape. Everything's all good. All contours are correct. Everything else. This has all been flatted. This is 240 grit again and primed. Up here is the same. Again, I've got to move this stuff out of the way. Really, I've got stuff everywhere. This door has got to be slightly modified to sort of curve around a bit more around there. Apart from that, that's basically there. Just needs a little bit of work on the lines. I can't do that till I take the door off, but I will do. It's been primed all along here. 240 gritted, same. It's a slight jut out just there. These sort of things are what I'm doing this for, basically. So no, this isn't perfect. This isn't like, oh yeah, great, this is nearly finished now. It's not. This is basically getting to the stage where you're doing, it's like 80%, 85, maybe even 90% done. You're tidying up the last bits, and then it's ready to leather later on, pretty much. But yeah, that's basically where I am at the moment. So I'll do another video at the end of next week, as I say, which would be another load of hours gone in. And let me know what you think, comment, and go from there.